Wait!
Huh?
Wait! I'm coming! I'm coming!
Trip. So yeah, this is officially my first Q&A. However, only two questions were asked, and the other questions are really just stuff I came up with for people who might ask. So, yeah, here we go. Titanosaurus Productions asks, when return Godzilla vs. Ultraman Kaiju battles? Here's your battle. You like it? The actual question itself was, what is your favorite TV show and movie? Okay, so in terms of movie, there are multiple ways I could put it. In terms of Godzilla movies, I've always really liked Godzilla 2000. I mean, granted, part of it is probably because it has my favorite Godzilla design. But I just found it to be a cool movie. And as for kaiju movies that aren't Godzilla, I guess Gamera 2. But in terms of non-kaiju movies, I'll admit, Spider-Verse was pretty good. Although then again, I'm sure some people will probably be like, oh, you're just saying that because it's new. In that case, it's hard to kind of decide. But like one movie I kind of enjoyed, like, because in English class in 9th grade, I think it was almost at the end of the school year, so my English teacher decided to show us a movie, and that movie was The Emperor's New Groove. And I just loved how that movie, the way I put it was I kind of sort of poked fun at some certain tropes, like how there would be a waterfall scene sometimes. And like, of course, there are a lot of other movies I liked. Let's see, I really enjoyed Ralph Breaks the Internet, as well as Zootopia, and like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of stuff. I can't really pick a favorite. And since I kind of said something about favorite Godzilla movie, Titanosaurus Productions also asks, what is your least favorite Godzilla movie? It's kind of a hard question to answer, because like, it's kind of been somewhat of a while since I've seen a lot of Godzilla films, like mainly the Showa films and the Heisei films. I know the two main answers people would often pick are Godzilla's Revenge and Zilla. But, well, here's the thing, like, about how I feel about those two movies. I'll admit, the movie ain't really that good. But I definitely see where people are coming from. Like, I rewatched this movie in 2017 just to see what I thought of it. And yeah, I'll admit, it ain't that good, but there was really only one thing I hated about the movie. Like, really hated. Everything else just seems in comparison. And that is the ending. In particular, how it kind of, how I put it, pulls a complete 180 from the message of the movie. And in a sense, Ichiro himself, like, him and the ending are the main things that I kind of don't like about the movie at all. That I just hate. Well, like, and the reason for that is, Godzilla's Revenge is supposed to be an anti-bully movie. And then you have the main protagonist be this kid who's mischievous, I guess? I don't know. Like, because there's a scene in the movie where I think what happened is that, like, he kind of often visits the toy maker's house or something. And, like, in one scene when he kind of left the house, was about to leave the house, we kind of see, like, the toy maker just, like, grabbing his foot as if his foot was on fire. And I think it's revealed that Ichiro left something, that pretty much purposefully left something that burned the toy maker's foot. And Ichiro was like, oh, whose roar is that? The toy maker's like, oh, mine. I'm just like, that's kind of screwed up, man. Like that's a little screwed up. And then we get to the ending where he kind of honks a horn at, like, the guy who's, like, painting the billboard. And, which is something that the bullies wanted him to do, but he didn't. Until the end, like, what movie is this? What message is this movie trying to teach us? That's like, on one hand, where's the main protagonist, like, we're supposed to be feeling bad for him. We're supposed to be cheering for him. But I can't do that if he's, like, a freaking jerk. I can't do that. Now, are there such things as likable jerks? Yeah, but Ichiro definitely ain't one of them. And the other thing is, again, the whole contradicting the message thing. So wait, is this movie trying to tell us that, like, it's almost as if the movie at first was like, oh, bullying is bad, but then by the end, it said something like, oh, I'm sorry, did I say that bullying was bad?
Because when I said that, what I meant was it's bad unless you're the one that's causing pain to others. In that case, it's perfectly fine. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how you're supposed to do an anti-bully kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, the stock footage just wasn't. The fact that they relied on stock footage a lot wasn't good, but in my opinion, that's just nothing compared to the ending.
I know it's kind of childish for me to complain about one scene in the movie, but I mean, when the ending of your story just contradicts the message of your story, that's pretty bad. I mean, can you imagine if the original Godzilla started out as this anti-war movie, but then by the end it's just some like, oh, as long as you're defending yourself, it's perfectly okay to kill a bunch of innocent people. Like, no, that's not how it works. At least I don't think it is. And Zilla, it's been too long since I saw the movie, so I can't say whether or not I dislike the movie or not. Whether I dislike the movie or not, but from what I can remember, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem that bad. Like, as long as you don't call it Godzilla, it doesn't seem too bad. But yeah, if for whatever reason I had to pick Godzilla's Revenge as my least favorite, it's mainly not because of the stock footage or Gabra or Minya or whatever. It's mainly because of the, like, again, how the movie just, like, contradicts itself. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And now onto the custom questions that I came up with.
Who is your favorite kaiju, and who is your least favorite kaiju?
I usually like to sort of divide this between franchises. In terms of Godzilla for the favorite kaiju thing, I always really liked Titanosaurus. For Gamera, I really like Iris and Legion and Gallus, but I also like Barugon and Jiger. Pretty much all the monsters in the Gamera franchise, except for maybe Virus. But then again, I'm not entirely sure. For Ultraman, I'm gonna have to say it's a tie between Naranga and Banila and Alboras. I just think they're cool monsters. Now, for least favorite, in the Godzilla franchise, I guess I'll say the Giant Condor. Like, with Gabara, at least he's somewhat unique. And I don't even hate him that much anyway, so... Giant Condor, nothing really too exciting. It's just a Giant Condor. Even Giant Octopus just seems a little cooler, but... I don't know. For Gamera, I might say Virus mainly because, like, I don't know, And as for Ultraman, it's kind of hard to say, because... Or actually... I might say Gamma Kujira from the original Ultraman, at least when it comes to the original, because... I don't know, I kind of like the design, but what he does... Like, especially, like, how there's... I don't know, just something about it. What is your favorite Godzilla design? Godzilla 2000. I love the design. Like, the dorsal plates, it just looks so cool. And I'm sure someone will ask me about my least favorite, and my least favorite would probably be, of course, 67 Godzilla, but not because I don't like it. Like, I think it looks alright. I do like the dorsal plates. It's more like the face just looks weird. Everything else about the design looks okay. It's just not as impressive. It's basically just because I just prefer the other designs, not because I dislike it, just meh. What's your favorite figure in your collection? I had to turn on the lights here, so because it might be getting darker outside for a bit. But yeah, in terms of favorite figure in my collection, as for Godzilla, I might say my SH Monster, it's Godzilla 1995 Rebirth version. I mean, just look at it. It just looks like such a great figure. But then again, it's probably a little too easy of an answer, so in terms of non-SH Monster figures, the NECA 1954 Godzilla's a good figure. But I think my favorite is the theater-exclusive Godzilla 2003. It's just such a great-looking figure. Yeah, for Gamera, I might have to say this Showa Gaios figure. I don't know who made it. Like, I don't know what company made it. All I know is that it's an 8-inch Showa Gaios figure. And holy crap, I really like the look of it. I love the detail, I love the sculpt, love the paint job. It's just such a nice looking figure. And yes, I did check the bottom of the feet. Doesn't really say much. And for Ultraman, I might have to say this Naranga figure. It just looks so great. And for figures with Godzilla Kaiju that aren't Godzilla, I may have to go with my Movie Monster Series Gigan 04 figure. I mean, just look at the details. Well, you can't really do that here, but like, such a great detail and such a great paint job. It's just a really good figure. Are you going to G-Fest this year? when I went to G Fest last year, or not last year, when I went to G Fest in 2017, I remember considering going to G Fest in 2019 because that's the year Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out. But after talking to my parents a bit about the possibility, I probably won't go to G Fest this year. Aww. This is pretty much because, like, one, like, I think we might have other stuff to do. Like, my parents pretty much told me that if we were to go this year, we'd probably take, like, a plane. And, like, well, like, from what I've heard, we can't carry too much luggage. So even if I were to not get a lot of stuff at G-Fest, there would still be two more problems. One, they don't really allow sharp objects. Even if it's just like a toy, they don't really allow sharp objects from what I've heard. And also, apparently, they sometimes like throw the object, so there's a possibility of something breaking. And I don't really want to risk that. So if we were to go to GFIS again, it would probably be next year, which is kind of disappointing to think about. But then again, we do have versus Kong, so yeah. And also, we kind of apparently, I will be going to SAC Anime Summer 2019, although instead of taking place in September like it usually does, instead this year it's taking place in June for some reason. I don't know why that's the case, but hey, at least I get to still go to a convention in the summer. And plus, in July, my parents pretty much talked about the possibility of visiting one of my aunts. It's kind of like in 2014, where we visited one of my aunts, and I remember like we kind of went to the beach for a bit, and like we kind of had these sort of reservations where we could sort of stay into nighttime, where we pretty much roasted marshmallows, and there were fireworks in July. So yeah, it's possible we could do that this year, which is nice. Will you get the NECA Godzilla 1962? Oh, it looks so beautiful. Yeah, I would love to get it, but there is no guarantee that I'll get it when it comes out. If anything, I'll probably get it late, knowing how I usually am. Like, it's possible that I could walk to a Target and notice one of these and possibly get it, but like I said, there's no guarantee that I'll get it, like, right away. Will you get any of the Godzilla King of the Monsters merch? And which Godzilla King of the Monsters figures will you get? For SH Monster Arts, I don't know if I'll be able to... The figures I would want the most are Godzilla and Rodan. Godzilla, maybe I'll be able to get it. Rodan, probably not. Because, SHMA figures are generally pretty expensive. If I were to get them, I'd probably have to wait till Christmas or something. For NECA, I think I'm going to wait for images of the NECA, Godzilla, and Mothra to show up. Rodan and Ghidorah, I was going to say that same thing about them too, although I remember hearing people saying that apparently NECA doesn't have plans for Rodan and Ghidorah, even though I could have sworn I heard about NECA having plans to make figures of all the main Titans and Kingdom Monsters. As for Jack specific, the figures I would want the most are the 6-inch Rodan. Maybe 6-inch Ghidorah if NECA doesn't make a Ghidorah. And maybe also the battle sets, including the somewhat infamous Mothra set that contained the Godzilla figure that I like to call Spoilerzilla. How did you get into Godzilla? I've actually been thinking about saving that question for like a later video, in my history with Kaiju kind of video. I kind of thought about like making it an honor, like basically releasing it by the time Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out, or at least around that time. And I also thought about doing a collection video showing off my collection around the same time. So yeah, I'm probably gonna save that question for later. What's with your profile picture? My first profile picture was like an image of the head of the SHMA Godzilla 2000, more specifically the promotional images, and after that I changed it to this chibi Godzilla 2000 because I thought it suited me pretty well. The way he kind of has that silly look while also Godzilla 2000 is my favorite Godzilla design. Eventually for October I pretty much changed it to GMK Godzilla and then Shin Godzilla to sort of keep off a Halloween kind of thing. Then in November went back to the chibi Godzilla 2000. And then in December I pretty much gave him a sort of Santa outfit
But I'm sure what you guys really want to know about is this profile picture right here.
It's actually from the My Hero Academia 2 Heroes movie, which I haven't seen. But I did see a clip in the movie which had a hero or a character which is pretty much based on Godzilla. The character himself is called Godzilla, and he doesn't really have much of a role in the movie. I kind of just imagine he's kind of mainly there to sort of acknowledge how some MHA fans also happen to be kaiju fans.
The reason why I chose him as my profile picture is kind of to show that, to sort of give an idea of what my interests are like. Because since he's based on Godzilla, it's going to tell people, oh, he likes Godzilla. But since it's from an anime, it's also going to tell people, oh, yeah, I guess he also likes anime. And yeah, I know the Godzilla anime trilogy is a thing, but when people think anime, they kind of think more of some, like, 2D anime, not 3D anime.
What do you think of the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series? And how and when did you first come up with GPHR? For those of you who don't know what GPHR is, it's short for Godzilla Power Hour Resurgence, which is a series I've thought of since 2017. And in case the title didn't already give it away, it's essentially my take on how I would have handled the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series. Like, if I was given the scripts of each episode, it's pretty much like what I would have done with each script. For what I think of the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series, I was actually able to finish watching all the episodes on Daily Motion, and it's an alright series. It's a fun series, although I'll admit, it is kind of flawed. Like, it does seem a little dated, and some stuff, I feel like if it was made today, it could have been executed a lot better. Unless it was handled by the people who made the monster fights in the Godzilla anime trilogy. But yeah, I do feel like that the concepts introduced were great ideas, just that it could have been executed a little better. And that's pretty much part of the reason why I thought about making Godzilla Power Hour Resurgence. As for how I first came up with the idea, out of nowhere, I just, thought of this scene from the Colossus of Atlantis episode of the show. Except instead of the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, it was with an animated Godzilla 2014, so it kind of would have looked something like this. And plus, I thought fans would appreciate a Godzilla that sounded less like this, and more like this.
And for those of you curious, yes, this is how I kind of thought about the Power Hour Resurgence Godzilla looking like. I made a full video detailing the detail on the design. Well, the feet, they kind of look like G14 feet, but I kind of envision them as looking more like the 54 Godzilla feet.
And I suppose that's it for now. Oh yeah, and as for favorite TV series, I don't know if I answered that earlier. But in case I didn't, I could go with some animes I watched, although I imagine that'd be a bit too obvious, so, because like I said, I kind of have made myself clear that I am somewhat of an anime fan, so I might as well go with something Western. And in that case, I'm probably going to have to go with Gravity Falls. I just find it to be an interesting and funny series. And I've kind of been following it since, it started airing back in August 2012. Man, I feel old. But yeah. And that's it for now.